1,000-mile journey, mountains turn valleys, always already there. That's the title track for my book, Good Morning. My book that I don't promote anymore because I had to change everything. I got to reprint it. My style changed so much that I couldn't. Good morning. Good morning. So 1,000-mile journey. Wild, right? That's pretty wild. There's some hints to people that are in the know. You go on a 1,000-mile journey, right? What kind of trek is that? What kind of journey is your life? Remember we spoke about whether you stand before a threshold to a very constrictive environment, a very confined space, or is it a threshold that just overlooks the mountain range and you're ready to take on the world and you're climbing mountains? The Torah was given a mountain, right? That's like a major symbol in our religion. Mountain. But when you go down the valley, okay, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't like what he saw when he came down to the valley from the mountain. He shattered the luchos, but what does that represent? The potential to use the shattered, okay? Use that shattered and rebuild and create the luchos hashnios, the second tablets, which were all about becoming a Baal Tshuva, which we're going to learn about in Tanya today if we get around to it. It speaks in Igeras Tshuva, in Tanya we're learning today, the next day and the next day, and this. I'm jumping around a bit, but basically chapter 7 of Igeras Tshuva, it speaks about Tshuva, and it's really beautiful, so I want to share that with you also. But to start with this idea, the yearning, the ecstasy of yearning. Okay, there's two types of love generally in Chassidus. You have Ava Batanugim, the love of delights. When your service of God, when your servitude to God, your bowing, your submission to God itself becomes a delight. That's the love that's like water on a tired soul or something like that. It's the love of water. Water is associated with pleasure. So it's basking in the presence, right? Being there, embracing the King, okay? Being one with the King. It's a unity there. When you're just, I'm there. Always already there. When the mountains, when your challenges in life, you see become valleys because you've grown so much and now you're ready to face bigger mountains, that those prior mountains are just valleys in comparison because you are ready to climb higher. I think the power to do that comes from a few things, but it's all centered around this idea that I call the ecstasy of yearning. When the yearning itself becomes an ecstasy. So the journey itself and the challenges of the journey, it should go easy for everyone, please God. But even that easier, because you don't understand God's kavanas. You don't understand what he intends for you. So you don't understand that, if you had to wait 5 minutes to get a better steak, you'd probably wait 5 more minutes, right? Or then look. People are prepared to undergo sacrifice or suffering to if it's worthwhile. So if you know that you're going to wait 5 minutes or 2 minutes, okay, you're going to really get the better steak or whatever you relate to, you'd probably wait 2 minutes and be happy to wait. You'd probably say, this yearning for that steak itself is an ecstasy. I know something good's coming. Mashiach's coming, right? The ecstasy of yearning is when you bring that into your world now. Okay, I mentioned 2 types of Ava. I want to say the other one, the flip side of this. And what I'm talking about is a bit of a combination of both, maybe. Okay, we'll see. So we said there's Ava B'tanugim, the love of delights, the love of, God, Harikaisi Lachem Bracha, God just pouring out blessings. Okay, that's the love of delights. But we are told that's going to be you're going to say enough already. Why? Because you're going to want to give. That's why. Not because you can't take more. If God wants you to be infinite, it'll take time. Or I don't know how it'll be. Let Hashem do that. But at a certain point, you're going to say, Hashem, I want to give. And there's lots of sources for the idea of giving to God. As karbani lach mi lili shai. My offerings, when you offer sacrifice to me, God says, it's my bread, lachmi, my bread, leishai, for the fire of Yud. God's fire expressed as a Yud. Remember, that's the masculine element. The Kuchabrichu is the Yud usually, and the Hey is the recipient. It's Ima and Abba. Okay, we got lots of things going on. If people are into Kabbalah, I think it's a great thing to do, especially if everything's based on Kabbalah. It's awesome. But to actually talk core Kabbalah, very hard. It would be difficult to do that, even if I knew it, which I don't, because it will bore 95% of the people, or maybe way more than that. I picked up a Kabbalah Sefer from the Rebbe's father, okay? Lekutei Levi Yitzchak, I think it's called. Biurim on Kabbalah or whatever. It's very hard. Gematria is one after the other. Yeah, you really have to learn it like a Rogachover and Nigla. You have to like unravel things. You have to understand. You speak a different language completely. To speak the language of numbers, which doesn't resonate with everybody. I know Joel Merkur, your father, loves numbers, but it's not so easy for everybody to sink their teeth into numbers. I like language more than numbers personally. The role, interestingly, this is a side point, but the role of numbers with respect to language, which creates the world, is it represents a transformation of an energy to appear differently, even though it's the same energy. So really, it's very relevant here, because when you face that mountain, the challenges in life, and you're going uphill, when you recognize there's something called the ecstasy of yearning, that moment before, which is what we're in now. I mean, the Rebbe spoke about this at such length that it's redundant to say anything, that the moments now are right. There's such a special time we're living in because we're so close to the redemption. So there's so much here, and if we don't see it, I'm trying to give you a prescription how to do that. Who else is trying to do that? I don't think anybody, personally. I don't know about anybody, but please mention. I think people should know alternatives. People that are trying to teach a Torah in such a way that you live with it, that Mashiach is something real. So you have Abba Tanugim, and then you have Ava Rabbah. It's a burning fire as opposed to water. It's the flip side of it. It's the yearning, okay? So I'm saying that there's a moment now that we're living in that's no. Hayinu kechelmim. It says we're going to be as dreamers, okay? We say in Shir Malas, I think, 4 Berkos Hamazon. We say we will it's hard to say. We will have been as dreamers. Hayinu kechelmim. We were as dreamers. A dreamer can live two opposites at once. You could, right? Your head is on par with your feet when you're lying down, to illustrate that idea that you're transcending the hierarchy of your system, that the mind rules over the heart and everything like that. You're sort of putting it on its side, saying they're all equal at this level. And that's what a dream represents. So we were as dreamers because we're living in a time that has now, more than ever, and it's going to unfold through this illness, which I speak about in the context of Tchias Meistin, the resurrection of the dead, that God's going to want us to first be reborn with our illnesses, Lo Aleinu. And I've spoken about that. It has to do with identity. So we will have been as dreamers, meaning there's going to be a stage, which we're in now, that's the ultimate stage of it is what I call the ecstasy of yearning. And this is the ultimate anyway, so it's just going to be the total realization of this when Mashiach comes. But now it's something we have to work on. The ecstasy of yearning is realizing that the Ava Rabbah, your burning fire of desire for whatever you desire, don't lie to yourself. It should be God, okay? Don't lie to yourself if it's not. Know what your desire is, but there is something you're passionate about, and if you're not, you're like a zombie, and Torah doesn't speak to the dead, probably, it says somewhere. Got to be alive. So identify what drives you. Find the way to express that. That's the ecstasy of yearning. When you realize that you are someone worthy and your perspectives matter, and that everyone that you listen to should be someone that really cares about you. Okay? That's the people you take advice from. If you find nobody, I say don't take any advice at all. I know that's against what the Rebbe said to get a mashpia. Find someone who's a mashpia. And then you can do what the Rebbe says. What if you can't? What should you do then? Take the mailman, or I don't know, as your mashpia? Don't. The buck stops at the CEO, right? You're the CEO of your life. So face the Goliath in your life. I mean, I was thinking at length about how, I've spoken about this before, and Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson has a shir about Goliath and what he's the product of. This ambivalence of this binary world where you come from Naomi, right? But you grew up in Amain, or Mayav. I said, yesterday's Kita said Amain. That Arpa was an Amonist. Okay, she had a lifestyle she was a princess, and she lived with a different set of values, let's say. Okay, not her fault, that's the way she was brought up. And therefore she was drawn to it. She had a taste of a good world. She respected it. She was rewarded with Goliath. Goliath is the ambivalence of this inability to decide between integrity and succumbing to whatever inclinations we have. So that night, when she parted from Naomi, when she made that decision that she's not going to die with Naomi like Ruth was prepared to do, she had an experience that is telling you, I've learned history and historical fiction also, and in which case they try and pronounce all the drama as much as possible, but there's nothing as dramatic as what happened to Arpa that night. Okay, look it up. What happened to Arpa the night that she left Naomi? Look it up. She had an experience that is such a cry of pain that there's no comparison in any history I've ever learned. Which I like to learn about the emperors, and I used to, at least. I haven't taken the time to do that lately. So you have two types of love, the love of water, love of fire. See the yin-yang of how they're both intermingled, and that's the special power of the time we live in now. The power to realize the ultimate as a foretaste of the general ultimate when everybody wakes up. We have the ability now to be an individual that has a nitzutz of Mashiach that is miskala. We have a revealed Mashiach in us, which means that we throw ourselves into devotion to God. You don't like that? Don't listen to me. That's what it's all about. Or whatever, if you don't like that and you still want to listen, just when I say that, say my goals in life. God goal, it sounds similar. Who's with me? I want a movement to rock this world. Okay? I think people are too sheepish. I want leaders, the Rebbe said, right? Be a leader and stand up and impress upon people the values that you cherish. That's your mission in life. Okay, that was a big pep talk for a shir, or no, it's so late. Maybe I'll forgo the shir. Tells you the difference in today's Yom Yom between learning Torah and davening. Learning Torah, you're like a disciple before someone you think is everything, the master. Okay? Talmud ba a Rebbe. Davening is a kin ba father. It's a child to a father. Rabbi Merkur posted something about the way you go with humility before God when you're davening. Okay, so a child goes without his innate virtues. Those become, good morning, those become something that is not considered. He just says, I stand here before someone that brought me into the world. This respect there is overwhelming, so the child doesn't see his own milas at the point, his own virtues. That's how you daven. Why is that? Because you have to go beyond. Torah is all about really digesting something. Okay, there's beautiful words here. I used the word lisrapek, which the best translation I got was cuddle. Okay, let me just read you that paragraph to see if I got it wrong. Shumka, for this reason, when you're learning Torah, a Jew should feel like a student before his master, his teacher. Shem mechachim v'gaydil b'limudai. He's very wise, okay, and great in his learning. But b'tfil ban in davening kama yelid etzel aviv, like a child before his father. She yelid la gidel mikach shu etzel aviv lehefech haneichachei sel ha'abo neisenes liyelid of sharis Lisrapek al ha'aba, lishtafbech alav. The child was not raised from the fact that he was close to his father. What does that mean? But that he's by his father. On the contrary, the presence of the father, they send us the yelid of sharas that allows the child to have the ability, lisrapek al ha'aba, v'lishtafech olav, I guess to be distant in order to yearn and come towards him. Isn't that what it's saying there? That's a Talmud to a Rav. The Rav is supposed to, this is not in English. This is the Hayom Yom Hamavur, okay? It has these beautiful, the context for which the Hayom Yoms were derived. So that's a bit hard for me, because I got the translation, this Rapek al ha'aba means to cuddle or embrace upon the father. What do you mean al ha'aba? Someone's going to have to help me with that, I'm sorry. Then it brings a very geschmack thing about how davening is called Chayes Shalom, Chayes Shah, the temporary life, or the life, or the living for the moment, and Torah is Chaya Elam. So it's an interesting interchange here between two sages. Okay, maybe it's worthwhile prolonging the morning to say it. It's a Gemara in Gemara Shabbos. It says Rava Chazyo le Rav Hamnuna. Rava, I guess, saw Rav Hamnuna Dika Ma'arich B'tzloisei, that he was davening at length. Rava, okay, he translates it in Hebrew. I think I got it right. Amar Menichin Chaya Elam V'Aiskim V'Chai Shah. He says, you're detracting your ability to have eternal life, to do something that is eternal life, which is learning Torah, and you're concerned about davening, which is usually founded on the idea of asking for something, or yearning for something, not experiencing eternity, but yearning to get somewhere. Okay, I guess that's what it means a little bit. Who Rav Hamnuna Savar? Rav Hamnuna, okay, in Amira, Talmudic sage, he considered Zman Tefillah L'chud, V'Zman Torah L'chud. There's different times for each. When you're doing one, you do one. It's important then. When you're doing the other, you do another. Okay, there's multifaceted aspects of our day. Good morning. There's multifaceted aspects of our day, and they all have the right time, right? There's a time for every purpose under heaven. Okay, there's a mimer that describes the difference, what it is, what davening is, and it's beautiful because it describes it. The reason why davening is called living for the moment or life of the moment. Parashah ze pniya. We're talking about time, or the meaning of the word shah, hour here. Chayishal literally means hour. Hours change. Here it means to turn, the turning of the clock. It's a nice image. The Kameish calls it V'yisha Hashem el Hevel. Here's an image that Torah gives. That God turned to Hevel, Vel min chasei, and to his gift, his sacrifice. God turned to it in the form of fire coming down from heaven to lap it up in flames. Rashi says V'yisha v'yifen. What does it mean, V'yisha? The word Yeshua means salvation. What does it mean here? V'yisha, he means v'yifen. He turned, like you turn your head. HaKadosh Baruch Hu pana alav. He turned to him, or to the gift, the mincha. I don't know which it goes on. Alav, to him. But God did not turn to Cain. Rather, he turned to Cain and Abel. Abel, but not Cain. Here's Cain. But he didn't turn. Shah ze pniya. When we talk pniya, when you speak about time, an hour, you're talking about turning, transformation maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Tefillah nikras chayeshah, it's called the life of hour, or turning, the life of hour, the life of turning, transformation. He, hachayim shel hapniya v'chazara al HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It is the life of transformation and returning to God, which resonates with today's Tanya, if we get that far. I know time is like, I don't know, I gotta wake up like earlier, I guess. Good morning. There is an incredible, that's today's Hayom Yom, Chaf of Tammuz. I mean, it's the explanation of it. This is where it came from, which we're going to get to in a minute. Or maybe I'll just skip that part because we already said it. Avodas tefillah chayim shel ruach. Davening means spirited life. Shel hismasrus lelamayla menu. Giving yourself over in devotion and like a yearning, a journey of a pining, going out of yourself to what transcends you, what you could be, in other words. What's above you? God is above you, okay? That's what you could be. God sees in you the Shekhinah. Do you worship the Shekhinah? Are you allowed to worship the Shekhinah? I spoke about this before. It says the Shekhinah is talking about the Jewish soul. It's incredible. I mean, the kid, the 14, 15-year-old kid tells me we daven towards the Shekhinah. That's why we daven towards the Mizrach, where the Yerushalayim or Kadesh, and the Shekhinah dwells. We turn towards the Shekhinah. There's an aspect within us that is worthy of being called godliness. That's the Chelek Elokah. Mimal. Here it says there's a yearning to get to the Mal. There's a yearning to be who you are. The Lamaila. What does it mean, Lamaila? Here it's talking about faith, but faith is to know who you are. It's the same thing. Smasus Lamaila, to give yourself over to what's above you. Everything, the whole chain. I keep on saying this. Just going to say it very quickly. Mineral life goes to plant life. Plant life is an animal. Animal goes into the man, and man gives everything to God. And God, the Adam Elyon, gives himself to Loy Adam. An aspect of godliness is completely beyond the very essence of God. That's the way everything goes. You don't like your role in the totem pole? The hierarchy? Complain to their maker. Be the best whatever you are you could be. What's the shame in whatever? You live in a shack, whatever it is. Be the best king of the shack you could possibly be. Everyone is a king of their world. Good morning. Be the king of your world, the queen of your world. Whatever it is. Be the best person you can be. There's people who are worse than you. I guarantee you I know someone. May God bless the people who suffer. But ultimately God's going to make that shack. He's going to take the sick person and resurrect him ultimately. But what does it mean? He's going to take the shack of your life and make it into a palace. That's what God's going to do for every person. Live with that. That's the Chaim Shel Ruach that the Rebbe is writing about here, the Frierdiker Rebbe, I believe. Tafresh Tzadik, okay? It's a mimer. Yud Beis Adar, okay? Look it up. It's also printed in Yiddish, okay? Having lekachas as mashu lekach and mashu leimed. Oh no, I skipped the line. But Vedish Shel Torah, how does this apply in terms of learning Torah? Adam reichesh latzmei mashu. Person's reichesh. What does that mean? Rachash, is that like he shakes up. Look at my editorial for this week. Okay, I give a preview of it. It's about crying out with rage and shaking up the entire world. The ecstasy of yearning. Or the yearning of ecstasy. The yearning of ecstasy. Ecstasy of yearning. And the yearning itself becomes an ecstasy, but I'll have to look into what the flip side would mean another time. Zehu davar shalimud. This is what Zehu davar shalimud. This is the thing of learning. Having lekachas mashu lekeach mashu lemed. Taking out what you're learning. Okay. That's reichesh latza mashu. Rachush. Oh, I got it wrong. Rachush means it's what you've gained as a wealth. That's what rachush means. Reichesh latzmei mashu. He gleans something for himself, like Naomi gleaned from her, like Ruth gleaned from living with Naomi, and she embraced the culture. She didn't have the ambivalence that resulted in the Goliath, that now you have to be David Melech and stand up against. Stand up to the Goliath in your life. Be the man that doesn't need a big spear and a big whatever. Then it goes to say the Yom Yom proper. Okay, we said that. Then it continues. Oh, that's beautiful words. Let's continue. In learning Torah, a Jew feels. Okay, I said that. Okay, we'll skip that. Hatfiluhi nachmasai, chayev hapnimim shalai. What does nachmasai mean? Nachama means to be consoled. Tefillah is his consolation. Oh, I don't know what that means, but he goes on to explain what it means. Chayev hapnimim shalai, his inner life. Nachmasa, so he consoles himself by entering in his inner life, saying, "What is my real life all about? It's my davening." because we're contrasting this with learning, what that is. That's the Ruach Chaim Shel Ruach, gleaning something from what you learn. Okay, I don't know if that was clear enough. We probably have to meditate on that more, but let's time is short. I'm sorry. I hope someone finds this and looks it up and takes it further, or understands it more clearly. But let's just learn the words as we get them. Okay, we can always put in context another day. We'll come back, right? It's his consolation. Nechama, nechmasei. You tell me what that means. His inner life. He masika. I looked up the word masika. Employs. Okay. Eskol tchushas shaloi. All of his sensibilities is my translation. All of his sensibilities, his senses. V'nesenes loi es hatei v'yeser. And gives it the best, his best, or the best, actually. Hatei v'yeser. I don't know what that means. He uses everything he's got for his inner life, which is tefillah. But tefillah Yehudim chai mechadash. In tefillah, a Jew is a new living being. He lives anew. Chai mechadash. Hu oilets. I don't know what oilets means. Mischazekes lo yatikva. It strengthens in him the hope, which is so important for people to have. People have to see good unfolding before them in their lives. Hu margish chazak. And he feels strong. He feels strong. Do you feel strong? That's what davening is for a Jew. It makes you feel strong. I didn't make this up. I've been talking about this every day since Purim, okay? And now I found it in the Frierdiker Rebbe's beautiful words. He was a writer. In davening, a person makes a strong resolution. Shem achshav hu yishtane b'kol. Now he is completely different. If you're saying words, that's not what tefillah is. You're just doing the absolute bare minimum to say that you fulfilled the obligation. But it's not what tefillah really is. Tefillah is making a strong resolve that now you're completely different. Those are the words of the Frierdiker Rebbe. Eskol hadvarim halei taivim shalai. Everything that's not good in him, and midas harais shalkina, such as bad characteristics like jealousy, sina, hatred, sheker, falsity, achilles, gossip, lashon hara. It's not about not speaking lashon hara about people. It's about not wanting to speak lashon hara about people. That's why we don't speak about lashon hara so much. We try and go a little deeper, uproot it from the core. Why would you want to speak bad about someone when you learn chassidus? When you have the gift of all history before you, it's not just about giving $18 to someone. It's about embracing the treasure of all the treasure of God, including Torah and especially Torah. The ultimate gift is the Torah, right? Torah nitna l'Moshe Sinai. It was a gift to Moshe and the whole Jewish people. Isn't that what we say in Pirkei Avos at the beginning? I don't know. Look at the very beginning of Pirkei Avos. Okay, we said all the negative qualities. And also, check this out. Okay, these are golden words. These words should make you weep if it resonates with you, if you understand it. Conduct, unsavory conduct, okay? Hanhagas harois, bad conduct. Shel kriris, of being insensitive and cold. Lecherim, to others. Gasus, being arrogant, just thinking about yourself. Yashlik men achutza, throw it out during davening. I know Matisyahu sings about that. Give credit where credit's due, people. Okay, he's singing about good things sometimes. I mean, he's very bitter now, it seems, for his lyrics, unfortunately. But I think people must have driven him crazy. So much pressure on somebody. Be yourself. He'll come back to God. Have faith in a Jew. Don't write people off. He's suffering now. There's a lot of people suffering. I'm suffering. You're suffering. Everyone's suffering. So it's his job to express that. That's what he does as an artist. And it's hard for him. It's hard for me. It's hard for you. It's hard for everybody. Look at other people. It's so... I can't stand when people start giving mussar publicly. I think it's horrible. I think it's really bad. People talking about punishments for certain things and homosexuals and all this ridiculousness. Get your mind out of the gutter. Listen to my yesterday's share. Don't look at somebody else. Look at yourself. Make the world so beautiful that they want to be you. And bring up your children in that way so they want to also be you. Then you don't have any problems. You don't have to bring any darkness into this world and fight evil like that. Fight evil by bringing light into the world. Dispels a lot of darkness, it says, right? Bring light. Face the Goliath with light. A stone, right? Stones are words of Torah and Tefillah. We've said that many times. Throw that at the world. That's what David HaMelech throws at it between his eyes. The laser target focus that David HaMelech showed. Miraculously, obviously. He had a helmet on. How do you hit? What do you hit him in his eyeball? I mean, it hit him in his forehead. He must have been wearing it back on his head like in arrogance. Could have put a mask over his head. He was so worried that he's going to face a real... Would you wear a mask against a shepherd boy when you're like this most powerful man that ever lived? No! He had it hanging off the back of his head, probably. David HaMelech said, oh, you know what? I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die. Why? Because I have been worthy of living. Real living. Face the Goliath in your world. Stare it down. Okay, what did we say before? We don't stare down. This is okay, it's a yid. Goliath might have been a yid. We don't stare down when we say we uplift. How did he uplift him then? He uplifted him right onto his papagoraif. Belly up. Cut off his head. I think today's Tanya, I had a source that speaks about cutting off the head. I do. Oh, I have to Arba Misas Abastin, the 4 death sentences and how they're exacted. 4 different ways and what each one of them means spiritually. It's incredible. Oh, I want to share that with you. I can do it tomorrow because I think it's tomorrow's Tanya or the next day. So if we run out of time, maybe we'll save that for tomorrow. I rarely save something because I'm into something else. I'm almost done this. One more line or so. Let's see. He should throw it out. Throw it in the fire. In the fire, right? Matisyahu sings about it. Throwing it all in the fire. That's davening here, according to the Frierdiker Rebbe. Cast it all out outside. Just do good. That doesn't mean not to teach Torah or not to be yourself. Be a good guy. Don't go out there to the world. Just be a good guy. Yeah. That's what I was put here for. I was in a house, literally, share different houses, with people that literally conquered an aspect of the world. Literally. Okay? I chose God. I chose a spiritual, philosophical path, and I said, not necessarily had an opportunity, but I was there. I could have tried to make an opportunity, which I didn't. I said, I want God. And I went to yeshiva. Okay? And these people literally conquered the world. My best friends. They're awesome. And they have hearts of gold. I know that they are the purest souls, so I just feel so honored. And I feel that there's something about association, who you associate with. And if greatness descends upon a group of people that you associate with, there's an aspect of you there too. Not always in every area do you experience blessings, but when you associate with people that have blessings that you feel you're lacking or you identify with and therefore have something of that in you, and you see it in them, it's realized in them, they take you up too because the brachas are there. You just have to open up to it. That's the health that I keep talking about. The healthy mindset in particular. That's what I try, and I'm not going to tell you what vitamins to eat. But that's part of it too. Very much a part of it. In fact, that's the first step. You cannot do this if you're 100 pounds overweight. I promise you it's impossible. You cannot do this if you have addictions. It's impossible. Use this as a means to say, you know what? Maybe there is worthwhile for me to actually turn, daven in a way that I'm a new person, and do that every single day of your life, and every minute resounds with your tefillah. It's like not just chayei shah, Every moment, okay? Chaya we got to look into what that means, but I don't feel like I've totally grasped it yet. But here it means changing. Shah means to change, the ticking clock, the change that represents, that every moment. Why didn't God create the world in such a way that he creates it once and I'm gone? I have an infinite power. I can do whatever I want. That's what I'm going to do. Why did he do it in such a way that every moment is created anew? Why? Does anyone want to type that? I think you should know that. Someone should type it. Come on, be with me. Be here. There's 5 people here. Why does God create the world anew? What does that teach us? It has to do with what we just said. When you're davening, when you're really alive, when you're healthy, that's the healthiest moment of your day. Like a ticking clock, you're a new person each second. That's a second hand, the first-hand experience of the second hand, I call it. Realizing that the second hand, the moment, always already there. It's always, you're right there. The journey itself is the destination, the ecstasy of yearning. Taking ecstasy in the fact that you are approaching the King. Revel in that, celebrate life. That is life. His constant love and care for us. How is that expressed in this fact? That is right. How is it expressed here? It's expressed that every moment you're created anew. Therefore, when you're davening, and you could totally turn around, that's the word they're using here, turn around, turn the world upside down now. That's my first publication. The world is new every second. God's creating it anew. He's creating it for you. Bishvili nivra ha'olam. The world was created for bishvili. Every person says that the entire world. What is the world? Someone should type this. I talk about this all the time. Come on. What is the world? I speak about this all the time. Okay, just think Kabbalah. As if I know Kabbalah. I don't really know Kabbalah yet. I want to. No. What is the world? Eilim and Lashon Helam v'Hester. Why is there Helam v'Hester? Why is there concealment? So that you could exist. Why do you exist? What else exists besides you? Just you? Is it just you? There's an Ayin. There's a Yesh Hamiti. There's a real existence. God created you as an Ayin, as something that's not real in a sense, or finite. That it's the thinking that you're finite. That's the not real part. It's a recognition that everything is God, including you. At the very core is God. At the very core, who you really, really are. There's Einon Milvade. So that has to be true. So what is a world? Someone should say it by now. I've almost... It's the Malka and Machanissa. You and your beloved. You and God. That is the entire universe. And really, it's just God. So when you realize that, that's the ecstasy of yearning. That's the always already there. And that's ultimately going to be known by everyone. Because you can't, if you do it alone, you will face such adversity. There'll be so many Goliaths that will stand up against you. So it's not... You always have to have that, you know what, I'm facing an enemy, but ultimately, what are you going to face? Goliath is going to be revealed in his core, which was where he came from. This pain and the suffering and the ambivalence to Yiddishkeit that came from suffering and trauma. Okay, no one does what Arpa did unless she had serious trauma. Serious trauma. It's almost a violence. It's a self-violence that's beyond. It's who could even live through what she went through. It's inhuman. It was miraculously so painful, so much pain. But the flip side to that pain is the realization that there's only your pure connection to God, and God loves you. And there's no reason to express it in pain. It's a transformation of the Goliath. So when you have an individual experience of redemption in your life, and therefore you really feel like you're just bringing light into the world, in the meanwhile there is going to be something that's called Goliath. Hopefully it's going to be like a miniature laughing little nothing, and you can understand, like the Rebbe said about threat of Arab invasion, when they actually threaten, if I understand correctly, the Rebbe says you have to go out even on Shabbos to disarm, let's say in a nice way, or to annihilate that threat. On Shabbos, okay? What does that mean? So what's going to happen? The world's going to go and be an uproar, right? That's what everyone said. How could the Rebbe be saying that? The Rebbe is screaming about this, like from the core, from the depths. And his answer, if I understand correctly, was the world will cry out like a puppet, or that's not his analogy, but like 2 weeks, shut up and move on, because people don't care. Certainly don't care about the Palestinians. Their own people don't care about them, so who cares about them? It's just a hatred towards Jews. That's all it is. They would live very happily if they just got along with their neighbors peacefully. Okay? Very reasonable. We're the most reasonable, compassionate people in the world. Show me one nation that's better. Okay? One nation. Show me. We're not perfect. Show me one nation that's better. If you're being honest, not if you're Roger Waters or some idiot like that. Evil person. Okay? What is evil? Hatred of a Jew. That's evil. Have compassion on people. Then the Goliaths will fade away, because everybody will be inspired by you. There will be no Goliaths, because everyone's going to join you. In a peaceful way. It could be from different perspectives, from different narratives, from different mindsets, but everyone's going to have respect and love for each other, and all the Goliaths will melt away like they're just like paper tigers. Do we call it paper tigers? There's nothing there. The Wizard of Oz. There's nothing there. It'll shut up after 2 weeks. Turn off the Wizards of Oz. Pull his plug. Pull the plug on the Matrix, and you have a chance of living, being alive. Just come out of it. Come out of your shell. That's the power of davening. And have hope. Just hope means you're optimistic. It's going to happen. God cares about you. God loves you. God's going to take you by the hand. He's going to heal you. Even the worst sufferers amongst us, and particularly them, He'll console more than anyone. I promise you that. I promise you that. God will not be a Baal Chayv. He will not keep a debt. We're not going to keep a debt to God either. We're going to be wanting to thank God and stop Him from showering us with blessings. But God for sure will not keep a debt. All the suffering of a Jew, including if Goliath was Jewish. Okay, Rabbi Jacobson said there's sources to say he was Jewish. I took this to Rabbi Wagner. He said no at first, and then he looked into it and he said yes. I don't know. It's an idea anyways. So be hopeful that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, remember the world is made up of God and Shekhinah. That's the whole universe. Okay? And can you worship the Shekhinah? Does God worship the Shekhinah? Does the sun bow down to the Shekhinah? Does all the world bow down to the Shekhinah? Does God create a world that is intended to bow down to the Shekhinah? The whole world. There's going to be a king sitting on a throne. It's not going to be me. Everyone's going to be the king of their own shack or mansion or whatever God blesses them with. Right? But everyone's going to be the king of their world. And there's going to be one king of the entire world, and that's going to be King Mashiach. And everyone is going to bow to him, and everyone's going to want to bow to him, because they're going to see that this is a person that really cares about others. You're not bowing to him. I don't know if you're going to physically bow. You probably will. Okay, but you're not going to have the same hang-ups that you would now. I don't know. I'm not telling you to bow down to a human being. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there is a deference, a respect that goes to the much deeper part of you than physically prostrating yourself down to something or a person, God forbid. But they did bow to people. Avram bowed down to Bnei Ches. Right? There is such a concept, okay? Don't be so crazy. So basically it ends off as saying, have hope that God is going to inspire. What did we call? We had Miriam was called Miriam and Yocheved were called Shifra and Pua. Yispar, Shifra, no, different word. No, yeah. Shifra, there's a tough in there. Yishtafer, to beautify. She would beautify the baby. When the baby comes out innocent, but not so pretty, she would make it pretty, because it is pretty. She's got to get rid of the dirt on top of you, right? The excess. Get rid of the excess, and there's a beautiful person in each person. In all of his manners, it says, in all ways you're going to be beautified, because that's the health of transforming yourself to a healthy mindset. It will be God, have the hope that God is going to make all of that beautiful. Oh, that is such a beautiful morning thought. That is the power to take you through the day and face the Goliaths, and they shouldn't be any Goliaths. Everyone should realize that being ambivalent is a waste of time. Throw yourself into God, and that's the end of the trauma. And have faith and have hope. Okay, I hope it will be revealed good for everyone. Blessings to everyone from whichever source you think it comes from. Okay, God, the essence of God, that's where all blessings come from. But in your world, you identify with certain things. Be blessed in those things. See brachas coming through positive associations, positive decisions, positive things that you contribute to yourself in the world. See the blessings flow through that, because that is what brings it. That is the locks of tresses we spoke about, I think, yesterday, the day before. Great, Joshua. Thank you so much. Shani Klatz, thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Blessings to everybody, and success to everybody. Mashiach should be revealed in everybody now.